as a result of the search and rescue work initiated after the sinking of the Titan, which was lost while organizing a touristic voyage to the Atlantic Ocean. The announcement that 5 rich people lost their lives in the vehicle that exploded with an explosion from the inside last night, the Titanic shipwreck on June 19, raised new questions. Commander of the U.S. Coast Guard, Rear Admiral John Mauger, who is leading the work carried out with ships, aircraft and deep-sea robots from the USA, England, Canada and France, announced that they continue their work focused on saving those at sea. Titan is in the hours when 96 hours of oxygen should have been depleted. But today it turned out that the U.S. Navy heard the sound of the exploding submarine days ago. According to the news of the Wall Street Journal, a few hours after the launch of Titan, which disappeared 1 hour and 45 minutes after its dive Sunday morning, the secret underwater microphones of the U.S. Navy, designed to detect enemy submarines, were used to detect enemy submarines. He did. The sound of the explosion. The U.S. Navy conducted an analysis of the acoustic data and detected an anomaly consistent with an implosion or explosion in the general vicinity of where Titan was operating when communications were lost, a senior official told the Wall Street Journal. While not definitive, this information was immediately shared with Incident Commander to aid the ongoing search and rescue mission. However, Mauger yesterday explained that despite the depletion of hopes for the contents of Titan to be found alive, enormous resources continue to be mobilized. We continue to encounter situations where the will of people to survive should really be taken into account, especially in complex cases. Therefore, we continue our search and rescue efforts. The Admiral never mentioned that the U.S. Navy caught the explosion. After a robot arrived at the wreck site last night, Mauger announced that 5 large pieces of debris consistent with the catastrophic loss of the decompression chamber were found about 500 meters from the bow of the Titanic. Titan, owned by OceanGate Company, included British billionaire Hamish Harding, owner of the aviation company Action Aviation, Pakistani businessman Shahzada David and his son Suleiman David, OceanGate founder and CEO Stockton Rush, French explorer Paul-Henri Nargeolet. Famous director James Cameron, who was identified with the movie Titanic he shot in 1997, also raised the question marks by saying that he had known for days that an internal explosion had occurred in the submersible. Cameron, who has made 33 dives to the wreckage of the Titanic before, said that when he learned that he was on a ship on Sunday and was informed about the incident on Monday, he immediately suspected a disaster when he learned that the submarine lost both navigation and communication at the same time. I had the feeling that we had a long, nightmarish shenanigan all week where people were running around talking about the pounding noises and talking about oxygen and all that stuff. I knew the sub was lying at the bottom just below its last known depth and position. Indeed, they found it right there with the robot. I felt it in my bones. The electronics failed, the communication system and the transceiver failed at the same time, the submarine was gone. I immediately phoned some of my contacts in the deep underwater community. I had it confirmed within an hour that a loud explosion sounded as the submarine lost communications. A loud boom on the hydrophone. Loss of transmitter. Loss of communication. I knew what it was. The sub had exploded from the inside. The director, who talked about the resignations of the company's employees, but did not specify the reason, said that although he was not directly involved, some of the deep underwater community wrote to OceanGate saying you are on a path to disaster. The response to Cameron came from Guillermo Sonline, a former business partner of OceanGate founder Stockton Rush, who died on Titan. Speaking to Britain's The Times Radio, Sonline said that when he and Rush founded the Deep Sea Exploration Company, which he left in 2013, they put safety first. He was not involved in the design of the Titan submarine, but his former partner was not reckless. He was extremely committed to safety. He was also extremely meticulous about managing risks and was keenly aware of the dangers of operating in a deep ocean environment. That was one of the main reasons I agreed to do business with him in 2009, said Sondline. He continued, noting that he made many landings, including more than 30 dives, to the Titanic region in the United States and to the deepest point of the Earth in the Pacific Mariana Trench. I think when asked about a similar risk he said, "Look, anything at that depth would be catastrophic in microseconds, and by the time you get to the point where the implosion happens at almost supersonic speeds, you're basically dead before your brain even realizes anything is wrong." It's too early to tell what happened to Titan. Finding direction in formulating global regulations for submersibles designed to go ultra-deep is a tricky business. But despite the tragedy, deep-sea exploration must continue. Just like with space exploration, the best way to preserve the memories and legacy of these 5 explorers is to conduct an investigation, find out what went wrong, learn the lessons, and then move on. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like.